Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Getting down fresh out, and you tuned in to another Prison Talk. I was going through Instagram and I came across this video of this prison in Norway called Halden Prison. Now this prison is probably better than most of the guys I've seen in prison, how they live on the streets. But on the flip side, the environment of this prison seems very conducive to rehabilitation and reacclimating to society.
Luxurious prison in the world. If you've been here, you would probably want to stay long term, as it doesn't look like a prison, but more like a luxurious university campus. This prison, built at a cost of $252 million, is filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee throughout. Each prison cell has an area of 110 square feet, equipped with a flat-screen TV, desk, mini-fridge, and a bathroom with a shower. Every room is well lit to ensure inmates can enjoy natural sunlight. The prison also features communal kitchens and living rooms, giving inmates the option to buy groceries and cook for themselves, or choose from the prison-provided meals. It also boasts various recreational facilities such as a football field, gym, climbing wall, and more. Inmates sometimes receive surveys asking for suggestions on how to improve their prison experience. Oh my god, it's hard to imagine life here. Inmates even get to meet their partners twice a week in separate rooms equipped with sofas and condoms. Does Halden Prison change your impression of prisons? Perhaps you haven't seen people living this well here.
Now, I don't want to say, can you imagine doing time in a place like this? Because you should never want to go and do time anyways. You should be productive in society, doing your thing, and being able to make progress as a free human being. And you shouldn't say, oh man, if I go to prison, I can do this, learn that. Learn that shit on the street. Learn that shit on the street. Be able to cook what you want on the street. Be able to, have relations with your partner on the street freely. You shouldn't have to want to go to prison to experience what you experience at Halden Prison. It's sad that the mentality of a lot of people is that going to prison is a rite of passage. It makes you somebody, and it gives you some type of credibility. That's a crock of shit. Credibility? Come on, man. Credibility is when you're holding it down, taking care of your family, building your legacy, taking care of business, and being responsible. Going to prison doesn't lend any credibility to that. Now, if you make mistakes in life and you correct those mistakes and are able to come back and be a better person the second time around, well, hey man, more power to you. But to try to be proud that you did 10, 15 years, 20 years, man, look, I mean, you're free now, but dude, all that time spent in prison, you could have been doing a lot of things, man. People don't realize the most valuable commodity is not money, it's time. You can make the same amount of money in an hour that you make in 5 years if you have knowledge. So to sit around and think that you're going to, get some type of gain by hanging out in prison with a bunch of inmates or living like a barbarian, that's a false sense of reality. Number two is, in the United States, prison is a place where you go to be punished for a crime, to learn your lesson. At the same time, as a person who's been to prison, you should use prison to reflect, think about your mistakes, and better yourself so that you can get out on a better path. Now, most prisons in the United States aren't conducive for that. It's very racial, and well, in California in particular, super racial. Um, the guards in there, they don't want you to, uh, in a sense, elevate yourself because I'll just keep it 100. Repetitive inmate is job security. Recidivism is job security. Three strikes laws is job security. So to think of that, they're going to have a prison where they have, golf, tennis, country club style living. Your wife or girl, your wife coming in twice a week and you busting her cheeks. Man, shit. You get out, you're not stressed, you're pretty adjusted, you're ready to get back in society, you're not aggressive. That type of situation in United States, California, man, shit, dudes are trying to control the drug trade coming through there. They're having people bring in shit. You have guys getting extorted. People trying to make shanks out of the golf clubs. It'd be awesome. It'd just straight be madness, man. And at the center of it would be the warden and his crew keeping the divide because he wouldn't want everybody in unison living in harmony. In Norway, you probably don't have all the different racial cliques and gangs, so it's not as divided. But in California, the feds, United States, wherever you want to call it, there's a lot of different cliques and factions, and by design, they don't want those different cliques, factions, gangs to come together and to conversate because they could shut some shit down. And you talk about having a voice, the voice would be very strong if the Hispanics and the blacks got together. Or if you had the whites, not racially divided from the blacks. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's a class structure. And prison is a class. It's a convict class. Economics is a class of a certain level of wealth, and so prisons, even prisons, they have class. You have the USP or level 4. You have a medium. I don't know what they would call that in the state, and then you have a low. Then you have a camp. In the camp, they send all the guys who committed white collar, nonviolent offenders, but they don't usually mix a bank robber, high-powered drug dealers. They don't let them go to camps unless their points get really low. And so even in prison, there's a class so that you're not getting the game from maybe a guy over here who was a white-collar guy who you would never really have access to on the street. They're not letting you get the game from him on how to move your money, how to get into, tax lien sales, or how to set up an LLC, or how to set up a nonprofit, or how to, run certain things through a trust. You're not getting that game. You're over here. And there are people in the USPs that have that game or in the level 4s, but it's like far and few between as opposed to over here. And they also put all the weirdos that, committed crimes that, I don't want to even talk about on the internet, but they're up in there. That's their community because they kind of protect those people. But anyways, hold in prison, if they had something like that in the United States, but you would have to get there on a merit system, I think we would see some big changes, and I bet you the people leaving that prison, you wouldn't have such a high rate of recidivism as what you have in a lot of these other institutions, which teach a lot of hate, racism, and just pure violence, which it comes from, survival. But I just thought that was interesting when I seen this video in Norway, and you think about, I don't know what the crime statistics are in Norway, or, what any of the recidivism statistics are there, but I would imagine they're pretty low, and you probably don't have the murder rate or, the things that you have here in the United States. So leave a comment, share the channel, subscribe, represent. Big Herc 916, you know how we do it over here on the Prison Talk. I'm Big Herc, and I have over a decade of experience in the prison system. Yeah, I've done a lot of time, made a lot of stupid mistakes, but that's why I'm here with you today, educating you on the Mastermind program by Fresh Out. See, they don't give you a manual when you go to jail on how to survive. They don't tell you how to go take a shower, where to sit at when you go to chow, what to do when you have mail call, how to handle your commissary. See, we cover that and a multitude of other topics that are very important, because if you do the wrong thing, you can get your damn wig split. We have over 100 million views as of date on our YouTube channel, but we've put and condensed all this knowledge into this Mastermind program so that you can provide your client with a winning chance. Do yourself a favor and your client a favor and sign them up for our program so they don't have to get their wig split and they can make it out alive.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in.
But smelly ball sack and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at freshoutseries.com.